Welcome back to another video. Today join me here at Kimbolton for a very sunny day, and this is for round, what round is it? Round three of the championship. So let's get into it.
You got loads of different drivers from different aspects of racing. We'll have a look at the grid once again. Bradley Calder and Tom Mack around at your first row. From Nat Thomas, Ash Lewis from Bua Phillips, Hannah Lang, Sylvius Kilmass from Charlie Turner, who was actually the O-Plate winner last year, Sam Ward and James Beecroft from George Barker, Nino Pacilio from Leah Robertson, Nick Aitken, Isaac Smith, James Harvey. You're on at your row 8, Lucas Enningham, Josh Price, James Glenister, Ryan Green, Jed DeFriend, Bailey Riggersford, Ralph Youngling, Miles Murphy, rounds at your row 12. And I mean, we'll as you're saying, loads of drivers from different aspects. We got ex-touring car drivers in this field. We've got ex-Formula drivers in this field. We've got drivers who've come from Senior X30. You know, your drivers such as Lucas Enningham, a really experienced senior road tax driver, moving over to the KZ category. You know, not every race can go your way.
KZ UK, I think, could be wide open today. There are several drivers potentially in contention. As you can see here, KZs have a standing start, so they will all line up on the grid. Just saw Hannah Lang there, number 91. Marshall pointing her into her good position. Just behind there, we've got the O-Plate of Charlie Turner lining up just behind Lang. Marshall's making sure the driver's in the correct position, so it's a standing start. They do have an extra sighting lap we just saw there as well, and they also run the full length of the Amitsu Straight where the carts top out at approaching 100 miles an hour. Shift the carts, they are geared. Extra brake on the front as well, extra stopping power as well. These are seriously quick machines and great in their own right. There is a bit of trouble on the grid. You may just see at the back of your camera there, number 21, I think Nick Aitken, is standing up. You can see him in the back of the screen there, so they will have a wave round here. So 21 has lost the engine on the grid. Nick Aitken very quickly signalling to the marshals as we don't want any stationary carts on the grid. So we are not racing here. The carts have been waved around by the starter. They'll go out for another sighting lap. And for the number 21 of Nick Aitken, who is stranded on the start line, I don't know if he'll be able to continue in the race if he can get that cart started. He's pushing the cart. You may see at the back of your screen, pushing the cart back to the paddock. I don't know if he'll be able to get that restarted once the race gets underway, but the helmet's off, so it may be the case that Nick Aitken is very early out of the race. And we see that, you do see that sometimes with the KZs. They can be, well, they're finely tuned racing machines, they can be a little bit temperamental.
Yeah, especially when you have to start them by spinning up the rear axle. It's not like your normal Rotax or X30 where you have a starter switch. You have to get the rear axle spinning. So really interesting, these KZ carts. I mean, it's sort of the reason why all these, touring car drivers, Formula drivers, that's why they come back to KZ, because it's one of the most physical things you can do. I mean, some people say it's more physical than driving an F1 car. That's sort of why the F1 drivers do testing these KZs. But it's also one of the more accessible ways into gearbox racing. You'd have to go out and spend thousands on building up a car. You can pick up a KZ for a couple of grand and go out racing in it.
Of course, a lot of these drivers as well, they are, I would say, we call weekend warriors. They're drivers who aren't in any of the particular formulas, concentrate on the KZ racing and get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So we're going to go again. We have lost the 21 of Nick Aitken, seemingly out of the race with some mechanical trouble on the start line. So the flag is in. We're going to wait for the lights. Of course, it is a light start. Similar to Formula 1, the lights illuminating now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and away they go. The lights are out. They're charging down into the first corner with that standing start. Lovely drive down the inside for the number 73 Nat Thomas as they pile into the first corner. You can see the speed they carry down the straight, but coming out to the first corner, leading the way, it is Nat Thomas, and it looked like Bo Phillips with a good start as well. There you see the full length of the Amitsu Straight charging through into the Dan Weldon corner for the first time, carrying all that speed. It'll be interesting to see in a couple of laps time how the lap times develop here with these faster KZ carts piling through for the first time into the Dan Weldon corner, getting a bit tasty for second place. A little bit of contact there as the third, I think that was the number 4 up to third position now. Ashley Lewis from a great start. Charlie Turner on the O-Plate charging away as they fight for the lead going down into Stowe Corner. Brilliant first lap there, Charlie.
Yeah, Nat Thomas got the whole shot there. Really pulled away on that first lap, but Bua Phillips really late on those brakes as they entered the braking zones. About for third is Ray John. That looks like Charlie Turner trying to make a move on third, and that was Ashley Lewis.
After I say, do they use pole shot in karting?
You could do.
I've never heard that before. Oh, it's a great turn. It's a
brilliant
motocross background, of course, but
oh, he's getting bunched up here. battle for second still going on. Buell Phillips and Ash Lewis were back on bumpers as they came down to the final corner. Charlie Turner is trying to find a way through. Charlie Turner, really established KZ driver, who's formerly known for racing in the senior Rotax, British champion in senior Rotax, moved over to the KZ. And I mean, these KZs are a whole new different breed to drive. It's near on really hard to battle in these sort of KZ cars, especially the speeds that they're going at, over 100 miles an hour easily around this Kim Bolton circuit. And especially when you take them to the longer circuits, you know, you could be exceeding 140, 150 miles an hour, which is obscene for a go-kart, especially when you're 2 inches off the ground.
Yeah, I would say if you the TV footage gives you a great idea of the fast, furious nature of karting, but when you come down here to Kim Bolton in person and stand by these tyre barriers just on the edge of the paddock, it's you see them zooming past. It gives you a real indication of the speed they're carrying, and they're only a few centimetres off the ground as well.
I mean, you can only watch them for a few laps, so you might need to nip to the toilet, because you know, they're quite scary to watch sometimes, especially when they're flying at you over 100 miles an hour, we said. As they come down into the final corner, Nat Thomas still leads the way, but the battle for second is still raging on. And what about for third? Be even better, because Charlie Turner will have a look on the inside. Oh, lead change! It could have been a lead change. Oh, contact there between Ash Lewis and Charlie Turner. Now Charlie Turner made it through. I mean, he already had the move going, but Ash Lewis didn't see him when he turned in. Bit of contact, but that's all right. Rubbing his racing.
As we saw a bit of a move there for 11th place Ryan Green. 2 laps to go as we move back to the front of the battle for third position here between Nat Thomas and Sam Ward, charging through the willows, heading towards the Imitsu Straight. And our leaders still Bo Phillips and Josh Price making their way through the Dan Weldon corner back towards the TKM Straight, and Josh Price looking threatening here.
Josh Price wants this win, and this race is far from over as they enter the final lap of the race. Josh Price there in second. Sam Ward has made it into third. He got past Nat Thomas on that last lap. Here is the battle for the lead then. Josh Price there in second. Buell Phillips, who has not won a KZ race at Kim Bolton, from my understanding. He might have to take his first one here as they come down into the Dan Weldon complex for the final time in this first heat for KZ. Josh Price, really quick, astonishing driver, British champion, as we said, comes into Cashel corner. They're right on the back of each other. Will this be a last corner move? Let's wait and see as they come round who is going to finish where. As they go down, start finish straight. It was Buell Phillips who took the win there. Josh Price there in second place from Sam Ward in third. Nat Thomas made it to, will drop to fourth, but it was Miles Murphy and James Glenister who ran out your top 6. From Isaac Smith, Luke Senningham, Bradley Calder and James Beecroft rounds out your top 10. Now we have to say Josh Price made up 16 places in that race, up to second place, as well as Miles Murphy made up 19th to 5th. James Glenister up 13 to 6th. So some real good drives through the field.
Right, so if you saw that, we just done heat 1. Obviously, again, hard to tell. I made a slight error at the start when releasing. I dropped the clutch instantly, and yeah, made me drop down to last. But luckily I was on the end of the pack still. I wasn't tailed off. So I mean, the pace it's improving slightly, but I think there's a bit of a setup change. We'll talk to Brian and we'll do a bit of a setup change in the car, hopefully, as it is getting a lot warmer, and hopefully it should be better. Obviously we caught up to a couple of people, but again, just see what happens next time. Next I'm starting 17th, so a bit further back, but a bit less out of the carnage, so hopefully we can just get our head down, see who we can lead and beat, and yeah, just check out our progress. Obviously we've got heat 2, lunch break, and then the final, so bring on that.
And sometimes that's what happens. Next race out on track then, KZ UK. Obviously a big grid for KZ UK. Brilliant to see a bunch of karts out there, people from all disciplines getting together and racing. Some of the most accessible gearbox karting you can do nowadays.
It's nice as well, actually, Charlie. I mean, you'll maybe see a bit of this when you're doing the British mini bikes, but some of the drivers from other Formula like to dip into some of this short circuit, for want of a better phrase, short circuit racing, such as the karting and the mini bikes. To see drivers in this, or we'll look at this actually: Miles Murphy, Ralph Youngling, Bailey Wrigglesford, Jed Defend, Ryan Green, James Glenister, Josh Price, Lucas Ellingham on row number 4. James Harvey, Isaac Smith, Nick Aitken, Leah Robinson, Nico Piccoli, George Baker on row 7, James Beecroft and Sam Ward on row number 8. Row 9 is the open for Charlie Turner from Sylvanus Climbers, Hannah Lang on row 10 from Bo Phillips, Ashley Lewis, Nat Thomas, Tom Mack, Bradley Calder on row number 12. 24th position with Kieran Leonard running up the field. But you see this in the mini bikes, which also take place on karting style circuits. A lot of the British superbike riders joining in some of the less restricted classes, some of the faster classes. So KZUK, let's say touring car drivers from other karting or car racing formula as well, they do just enjoy the cut and thrust of this kind of karting based racing.
You know, someone I watch quite often who jumps into the mini bikes is Storm Stacey, who's a brilliant British superbikes rider, and you know, it's something that he does because he enjoys it, and secondly it's a good fitness way to, you know, keep going out on track, learn new bits and bobs here and there.
Yeah, say of course, Charlie, that karting, aside from Formula 1, is about the purest form of racing you get, really. There's nothing much really to it apart from an engine, the transmission really, and what's the 4 bits of rubber keeping you on the track, really.
It's probably one of the most physical parts of karting, well, parts of motorsport there is, because you know, you're 2 inches off the ground and you feel everything through your bum. It's as you said, one of the most purest sports, and this is one of the purest categories you can race in.
Interesting aspect here as well. We've got some pretty highly rated drivers towards the front of the grid. Price near the front as well. We've got Lucas Ellingham starting well, and Ralph Youngling, who struggled in the first race, will be starting on the front row here, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on as well.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. Now, the revs are starting to arise, so I'm assuming we're going to get racing soon. Here comes the red lights then. 4 red lights are upon us, and the lights out, and away we go. Now, all the drivers will try and let off the clutch, and let's get going then. Looks like a good start by Miles Murphy, who gets his way into first. Now, it looks like Bailey Wrigglesford gets into second place, or does he? Because it looked like one of the Formula K carts jumped into second place.
Off the track. Josh Price has gone off on the Willows.
That looked like a mechanical failure. I wonder if he can get it. Oh, he's got it going, but that is really unfortunate for Josh Price, who was one of the quickest drivers in the first heat. He's got a lot of work to do now, especially when it comes to the final. And another driver going off there.
All over the track here. There's drivers off on the...
like Ryan Green
as well. So here we go at the end of the first lap. We'll see how they all end up. So it's number 5 leading the way. Miles Murphy looking strong. James Glenister second. Bailey Wrigglesford, Isaac Smith, Harvey Ward, Turner, Beecroft, Lucas Ellingham 9th. Bo Phillips rounding out the top 10. So a few drivers hitting trouble on the first lap. We're looking further down the field. I think from the first row of the grid, we've got Nico Piccoli, Tom Mack, Ryan Green, Kieran Leonard, Hannah Lang dropping down from that midfield as well, and Ralph Lunding down to 12th. So an incident-packed first lap. The number 36 of Leah Robinson almost stalled the cart on the grid, notably, but managed to get it going again. But this seems to be turning into a two-way fight here. This is all allowing the top 2, Miles Murphy and James Glenister, to pull away. The leader's just gone over the line, incidentally, as the rest of the field in that top 5 battle making their way out to the final corner. Charlie Turner then up to second place now. Sam Ward, Isaac Smith dropping to 4th position, Wrigglesford down to 5th, and Leo Robinson had a difficult start to the race, has got underway. Oh, but trouble here for the number 5 of Miles Murphy, who is running so well. The cart is cruising down the start-finish line straight. The race goes on as we look at the Dan Weldon corner, but there is trouble in the race here as the previous front runner, Miles Murphy, is seemingly out of the race. He's pushing his cart down the track. The race goes on. There are waved yellow flags where the leaders are coming up to now, heading up to the finish line. You may see him any moment now when they come back towards the straight. Here they come down to the first corner, and there he is on the side of the track there, pushing his cart back to the pits. Miles Murphy seemingly out of the race. That shuffles everyone up a position. Ralph Youngling up to 7th place, finding his way through. Ashley Lewis up to 8th. Bradley Calder 9th, and Hannah Lang, who's had a good steady race here, slowly but surely picking her way through the field, is now up to 11th position.
Well, I wonder what happened there to Miles Murphy. It looked like a mechanical issue, and that must have been commentator's curse, because we were literally just talking about, you know, obviously these engines do have the opportunity to seize or any sort of other mechanical issue, and you know, as soon as we get under these hot temperatures, you know, it's getting a lot hotter by the minute. And well, that's just what happens. Leo Robinson, who's just behind Bailey Wrigglesford, Haven't spoke much about him at the moment. He's sitting in 5th at the moment. He's slowly closing in on the pack in front. Just say well done to Bure Phillips, who's there in 6th. He's made up 14 places, so brilliant drive there. You can see him on your screens now. He had a really good first heat, and he's trying to recover from starting near the back of the field in the second heat. Yellow flag out in turn 1, so no overtaking for the time being. So they won't be able to overtake till they get to the derricks, down the derrick straight and into down Weldon Complex. Now here is Charlie Turner on your screens, but the main man we need to watch out for is James Glenister, who's far up the road, 4.6 seconds from the rest of the pack. And soon enough, as he comes round the final corner, James Glenister will win in KZ for the second heat of the day. Charlie Turner will cross the line in second. Up 15 places for Charlie Turner from Sam Ward, who made up 12 to finish inside the top 3. Bader Wiggersford there in 4th, who finished from Leah Robertson in 5th. Bure Phillips, Ralph Youngling and Ash Lewis, who makes up 13 places. He gets to 8th. Lucas Anigum in there 9th. Bradley Calder rounds out your top 10, makes up 14 places. From Nat Thomas, Jed DeFriend, James Harvey, George Barker and Sylvius Kilmass rounds out your top 15.
Right, so heat 2 done now. That was a lot more promising. We had stronger pace, only about half a second off the leaders. Now if you remember Nat Thomas semi-teammate on the Formula K but on the SRP engine, and we're only about 2.5 tenths off him. So he's getting there. He's getting very close. You see a bit of setup change. Hopefully we can get there. And obviously I had a really rough start again. I don't know what it is, but I keep messing up the clutch. So something I need to relearn for some reason. But apart from that, it was alright. And now it's lunch break, so we're gonna have lunch. Maybe we should become a food channel.
Here we go then. KZ UK is back on circuit.
Let's have a look at how they line up. We've got James Glenister from Bo Phillips, Sam Ward, Isaac Smith on row 2, Nat Thomas, Lucas Ellingham on row 3, Leah Robinson, Bailey Reelsford, Bradley Calder, Ralph Youngling row 5, Josh Price, Ashley Lewis on row 6, Charlie Turner, Miles Murphy on row 7, James Harvey, Jed DeFriend on row number 8, row 9, Slavinas Klimas, George Barker, Ryan Green, Kieran Leonard on row 10, Nick Aiken, Nico Piccoli on row 11, and Tom Mack, the 23rd driver on the grid.
Now you can see the drivers doing their practice starts to make sure they get the clutch bite point right, and then they'll pull up into their starting positions. Drivers to watch out for: Sam Ward and Isaac Smith, who are starting near the front of the pack. Both drivers really established in this form of racing. Luke Senningham, another driver who was quite quick throughout the heat races, really consistent, got himself a good place for the final. Obviously Ralph Youngling, and watch out for Josh Price. Josh Price, obviously he's a British champion, he knows what it means to be the fastest in the UK. Let's see what he can do. Obviously with Charlie Turner and Miles Murphy alongside each other, that will be an exciting battle to watch throughout the race. Both drivers really good opportunity to make up some strong moves through the field. 23 carts, anything can happen in this race.
Yeah, the red light's going on, we wait for the lights to go out, and they're away. KZU final gets underway, they charge into the first corner. Sam Ward with a good start down the inside there as they pile into that first corner. Trouble towards the back, but everyone else seems to get through cleanly, and the spinners have got away as well. So all the pack are underway, everyone through safely as they make their way down the Amitsu straight. A lot longer this time, of course. They cut out the Derrick's corner, carrying a lot of speed into the Dan Weldon corner, that double apex right-hander. Back towards the finish line they come at the end of the first lap, and it's Bo Phillips with that brilliant start getting underway. Sam Ward also got away very well indeed, and he is there in third place. Right on his tail is the poleman 37. Down the inside goes James Glenister. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he can. He holds the inside line going through the willows and retakes second position. Then we've got number 4, Ashley Lewis.
Number 11's under investigation. Sam Ward is under investigation. I wonder what that could be for. Could that be for maybe a false start? Maybe jumping the start too early?
Nat Thomas as well. So yeah, under investigation. So there is the potential of a The jump start maybe going a fraction too early when the lights went out. So Bo Phillips has got control of the race in the early stages. Can he capitalise on that? Glenister's got through to second. A nice move from the number 37 on the previous lap. Ashley Lewis has got away well. Looking further down the field, Isaac Smith up to 5th place, Ralph Youngling and Miles Murphy 6th and 7th respectively. Josh Price has broke into the top 10. Ryan Green making his way through. Jed DeFrenz, Alvinus Climas further back, starting to fight through the field. And look out for Charlie Turner as the race goes on. One of the drivers caught up in the melee on the first corner, and he is just that little bit further back. But at the moment, at the front of the field, Bo Phillips starting to come under a bit of pressure here from James Glenster, who set the fastest lap of the race last time round. They charge over the line. Glenster with another fastest lap. And again, like we've seen in a couple of the previous races, just biding his time, looking to try and make a clean manoeuvre, because the last thing he wants is to get drawn into a fight for the lead, because there's some pretty quick drivers starting to fight through. Miles Murphy's on the charge. He's up now to 5th place. Josh Price is up to 9th. So these two leaders have really got to try and work together and try and pull away from the rest of the field here, because they've got some pretty strong rivals starting to come through who've still got time to try and make a fight of it here. But at the moment, Bo Phillips doing very well. Glenster still looks threatening in 2nd place. They get up with the two leaders as the rest of the pack make their way through. Youngling in 5th, Smith, Price, Ellingham, Rigglesford in 9th, Nat Thomas in 10th position, as they get all very close now as they make their way through the Dan Weldon corner, heading down the TKM straight. 3rd and 4th are closing up on the leaders all the time here, and we still have just under 8 minutes remaining, plus the additional lap. Still a long way to go in this final. Plenty of laps to be run here. And at the moment, Miles Murphy, fastest lap of the race, 35.76, is closing up on the leaders. He's pulled away ever so slightly. Race goes on regardless. 7 minutes plus 1 lap, and at the moment the momentum seems to be with the 3rd place driver. Down the inside he goes. Well, he was the 3rd place driver, he's now 2nd. Miles Murphy looking in great form here.
Watch out for Miles Murphy in the laps to come. This is the driver on the mission at the moment. Miles Murphy putting in the laps. He is absolutely on it. Miles Murphy, fastest lap of the race, 36.75. Lapping a couple tenths quicker than the drivers in front, but all these mistakes in these KZ carts, really easy to make mistakes in KZ, and that can cost you really wisely. So a 4-train kart for the win here. See drivers in 4th, Ash Lewis. He's struggling to catch up onto the back of Bure Phillips, but over the laps could have an opportunity for a podium spot. But I think in the laps to come, we need to watch out for Miles Murphy, as James Glenister is going to start feeling the pressure now. This race is far from over.
Just keeping an eye on the drivers behind this. 4 train drivers at the front of the field at the moment. Ralph Youngling and Josh Price look very quick indeed behind this group. They can see the leaders in front of them. You may just see them come into shot. There they are. You just saw them momentarily, giving you an idea of how they are starting to close ever so slightly on this lead group. Not by very much, but certainly if they keep on this pace, they could well get up with the lead group with the last couple of laps of the race to go. Top 4 still charging. It is still James Glenister that leads the way. Miles Murphy, who has looked very threatening, now in 2nd place, of course. And starting to jink at the back of James Glenister, looking for lines here, perhaps weighing up a move. The momentum seems to be with Murphy at the moment, but he needs to try and get into the lead. And I'm sure that James Glenister will have other ideas on that one. Has a very quick glance to check his positioning as he comes into the first corner. Murphy having a peek, but thinks better of it. Couldn't quite get the momentum to get down the inside there, so he falls back in line and will try again as they charge down the Imitsu straight. Just behind there, Bo Phillips, Ashley Lewis, Ralph Youngling and Price not too far behind. We've got 5 minutes plus 1 lap to go in this KZ final, and down the TKM straight they go. Murphy again, he can certainly keep up with the race leader Glenister, but at the moment he can't find a way through. Very well here to keep that kart well positioned, making himself difficult to pass. It guards the inside.
Oh, he makes the move turn.
We have to be brave there. Miles Murphy down the inside, found half a gap. He went for it and takes the lead. So let's see what Glenister can do. Can he fight back?
Miles Murphy had to try every trick in the book to get past Glenister. What a drive. That's what years of experience does for you in KZ karting. What a brilliant move that was. Found an inch on the inside going to turn 1, managed to use the curb to rotate the kart. Glenister drops to 2nd place, but I don't think Glenister's over just yet. Now they're coming over to a back marker. That would be Kieran Leonard, who's all the way down in 19th. Could this play a part in the race in the race to come. They've also got a couple other back markers to catch up. Let's see what happens then. What will Leonard do? And here comes Miles Murphy and Glenister. This is the lead battle, but it could be frustrated with Leonard, who is all holding up in the worst possible bit. You see, does Leonard move over? Yeah,
so
he's...
blue flags are out. They should be where. There he goes. They both get through the tail end. They've got a couple more drivers in front of them. The 32 and 53, Tom McNicker Piccoli. Josh Price, I believe, has entered the pits, the number 1. So one of the pre-race favourites is out of contention. It looks like it's going to be a fight between Miles Murphy and James Glenister, who is certainly not giving this one up. And Bo Phillips, Ashley Lewis still finally poised. There's a problem. 33, another driver on the infield. That was Climax, who you mentioned a moment ago, Charlie. We'll get that cart retrieved after the race. There's 3rd and 4th, charging through past the back marker. Bo Phillips and Ashley Lewis. So Ralph Youngling 5th, Isaac Smith in 6th position right now. Bailey Rigglesford, Charlie Turner up to 8th, Nat Thomas and Bradley Calder rounding out the top 10. 30 seconds to go, so I think looking where the leaders are now, next time round they will get the last lap flag. At the moment, it looks like Miles Murphy has pulled away a very small gap as the rest of the pack go charging through. But look at that in front of them, 2 back markers. Nico Piccoli and Kieran Leonard fighting away for their 17th position. And of course the blue flags will go out, they'll hold their line, but nonetheless they won't want to sacrifice their own race in the process as the leaders sweep past Leonard. Piccoli just in front of them there as well as they go through to complete another lap. 32 looks over his shoulder. Tom Mack sees the leader coming through, lets him go by. Now, of course, he is separating 1st and 2nd places. They go through the willows, so it may be the case here that Glenister loses a little bit of time, not too much, because fortunately Mack was able to concede position. But this is the last lap of the race, and it looks now that Miles Murphy may just have done enough here.
These cars are dropping like flies in this race. Leo Robertson had to retire on the penultimate lap, but the final lap has seen Miles Murphy drive an absolute superb race, holds off from James Glenister and wins in KZ. What a drive from Miles Murphy. Glenister finishes up in 2nd place. Bua Phillips holds on to a brilliant 3rd place. Ash Lewis and Ralph Youngling rounds out your top 5. Isaac Smith in 6th from Charlie Turner, and Bailey Rigglesford in 8th from Nat Thomas and Bradley Calder, who rounds out your top 10. George Barker, who had a really good drive up 7 places, made it up to 11th from Jed the Friend.
Right, so for the first time we've actually had a good result ending here at Kimbolton, finishing in 11th. So obviously there's still a lot of work to do, but we are getting closer and closer and closer. And luckily, if we take a look at the championship standings here, you can see that I'm currently in 10th. Now after this round, a lot of the drivers in front had issues, broken down, DNFs, or didn't even bother turning up, which automatically I know I'll move up 2 positions, and then I've got about 6 drivers in front of me that have had DNFs throughout this weekend. So we are, either way, we're closing in on higher places in the Kimbolton Championship, and maybe after this weekend we might be in about 5th or 6th. But now normally Kimbolton's results are pretty slow, so if they are up, then leave it in the description down below. But don't get your hopes up, because normally they're done about the day before the next round. So in a month's time you'll see where I am from this round, hopefully. And if you do want to see that, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.